Have you ever reached a point where your mind wouldn't stop? Planning, problem solving, judging, commenting until you were completely exhausted? There's a reason this happens, and it doesn't resolve the way most people expect. I want to tell you a short story about someone who reached that point so totally that something pivotal happened that completely altered his relationship to life. He's someone you probably know, but you may not know this side of his story. Before Eckhart Tolle became a famous author and a spiritual teacher, he was a deeply unhappy man. At the time, he was living in London. He was recently out of grad school. On paper, nothing looked bad. Nothing looked obviously wrong. But inside, he was suffering almost constantly. He lived with near continuous anxiety, long periods of depression, a mind that never gave him rest. By his own account, his inner dialogue had become relentless. Thoughts were arguing with thoughts. Stories were piling on top of stories. He had the sense that he couldn't escape himself. And then, one night, at the lowest point of his life, something strange happened. He heard a thought in his mind that said, "I can't live with myself anymore." And suddenly, another thought followed. Wait, who is the I that can't live with which self? It sounds simple, but for him, that question stopped everything. The mind that had been running the show turned back on itself. And at that moment, the entire structure of his identity collapsed. After that, the voice went quiet. The next morning, Eckhart woke up and he was in a state of deep peace. The same world, the same life, but no longer the same relationship to thought. What strikes me most about Eckhart's story isn't the awakening itself. It's what came before it. Because so many people come to me right there, before the collapse, and they often think that something is wrong. But what if this stage isn't failure? What if it's a threshold? In Eckhart's case, the mind didn't get fixed. It got seen. And being seen clearly, it lost its authority, to the point where he's even said publicly that his thinking was reduced from that point forward by about 80 to 90%. Now, not everyone has a dramatic moment like that, but I do see a pattern that's common to breakthroughs of all sorts. Often, before a deep and profound shift occurs, the strategies that used to work stop working. Thinking harder no longer seems to help. Trying to improve yourself starts to feel exhausting. Even spiritual practices can start to feel like more noise in the system. I've been there myself. I mean, it can feel unsettling. That point where the mind has done everything that it knows how to do, it's like reaching the end of a certain road, so to speak. It's also the point at which a new relationship to life is finally possible. If you're drawn to real stories of transformation, you may want to check out my audiobook, Spiritual Wayfinders, True Stories of Awakening and Transformation. I'll leave a link to that in the description. Peace and love.